Sexuality in Islam. One of the big contradictions in Islam is its orders and teachings about sex. On one hand, Islam teaches that morality is a duty of every Muslim. On the other hand, Islam is a playboy book. Muhammad seduces men with sexual promises, and sometimes these promises are mere fantasies rather than promises that can be fulfilled in reality. In Tafat al-Habibala Sharh al-Kateb, Book of Yuqa, Book of the F Word, p. 356, Imam al-Qurtubi said, in summary, the preceding text says that it is lawful to have sex with your family members in heaven, except with your mother and daughter. A sexual relationship between family members is not considered incest, because it will not result in procreation. It is also considered not as bad as having anal sex. Additionally, Muhammad was reported to say that Allah will give each man a penis the size of a palm tree whose end cannot be seen. As we continue reading the text, a man is permitted to have sex with all the women from his family, except his mother and daughter in the Islamic heaven. This means that Muslim men can have sex with their sisters, grandmothers, aunts, and nieces. Muhammad also extended that authority by allowing men to have sex with everyone else. By that, Muhammad is satisfying the sexual fantasies and needs of Bedouin men. Arab people, who lived in the desert, lived a simple life. Everything in their life was based on wealth, animals, gold, and women. By promising endless sexual gratification, Muhammad spoke to their dreams and made these dreams attainable. As a result, he controlled their minds and did not give them enough space to think about these promises, that is, whether they could be fulfilled or space to think about these promises, that is, whether they could be fulfilled or not, because they are too good to be ignored. A penis is similar to an endless palm tree. Muhammad takes it further by giving Muslim men what they want. They want to have very huge private parts. Men will have a penis the size of palm trees whose end cannot be seen. Muhammad used the word, which means the end cannot be seen. Additionally, Allah will provide the men with a woman who has a vagina that will fit the man's oversized penis. Sexual morality. Let us start with some verses showing the morality found in the Quran. Quran 23, 5-7. 5 And those who guard their private parts from others. 6 Except from their women or the slaves that they own. 7 And whoever goes beyond these exceptions is against Allah. What we understand from this is that Muslim men have several ways to satisfy their sexual desires. 1 He can marry 4 wives at the same time and divorce any of them any time to make room for new wives. 2 He can hire a woman for sex in a temporary marriage, known as mate. Mate is simply an agreement between a man and woman to share a bed for a period of time wherein the length of contract and amount of payment is pre-arranged. 3 He has the right to have sexual intercourse with all his slaves regardless of their number. They can be in the millions, but as long as he owns them, he has the right to sleep with all of them. This is in contrast to the maximum number of wives he is allowed to have. The point of using the word marriage in Islam is simply to legalize extramarital affairs. It is not a real marriage. Women are exploited for sex. No loyalty is bestowed on them. No loyalty is bestowed on them. It is easy for a man to divorce his wife or wives. Marriage is loose. It is done according to the man's will, not both man and woman. By law, a contract provides both sides equal rights, including starting and ending the marriage contract. However, according to the Quran and Muhammad, the right is based only on gender, that is, men receive special treatment. It gives men absolute authority and full control of the contract. This likens the woman to a mere employee who provides service to the man for as long as he requires or wills it. He can void the contract any time. He can say, "I do not need you anymore. Get out." This proves that the whole idea of marriage in Islam is just a way to make the man happy. The woman is simply a sex toy. She has no rights except for what is provisioned in the contract, which is nothing more than the payment. Muslims claim that Muslim women are given all the rights that no other women had before. However, the fact is the rights they are referring to are nothing more than the same rights given to animals, that is, feeding them and giving them shelter. The man, the provider, provides the same rights to his animals as well. Also, Islam supposedly provided women the right to inherit, but they do not tell us that she only inherits half of what her male counterpart will inherit. I will discuss this further in the section where I discuss the rights of women in Islam. This kind of teaching is opposite to what Christ said in Matthew 19:5-6, KJV. For this reason a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So then, they are no longer two but one flesh. Therefore what God has joined together, let not man separate. Christian marriage is a unity by God, not a contract for sex. I will give you an example how this kind of sexual contract has to be done. According to the verse, Quran 4:24. We have a man and woman discussing a mut'ah arrangement. We'll call the man, Ahmed, and the woman, Fatima. Ahmed, salam to you, Fatima. Fatima, and to you, too. How I can help you? Ahmed, I feel a great desire for sharing a bed with you for a half her in accordance to Allah's order to do pleasure marriage, mut'ah. Fatima, I am ready for that, but how much will you pay me? Ahmed, I will pay you $3.50. Fatima, well, I did a man before you for $10. Ahmed, okay, I will make it 5. Maybe he was rich. I am not. Fatima, fine. We will have a half her sex, and you pay me before my sweat dries, as the Prophet said. Ahmed, it's a done deal. Let us go to bed. When the half her agreement is over, the mut'ah marriage automatically ends. Which means no divorce procedure is necessary, i.e. not necessary for the man to recite I divorce you 3 times. What you may have not noticed here is that mut'ah is a marriage that does not require witnesses. This is an important point because adultery is condemned in Islamic law. If an illicit sexual relationship between a man and a woman is discovered and attested to by 4 male witnesses, a minimum of 4 witnesses is required to prove adultery according to Quran 24:4. All the couple needs to do is claim that they are engaged in a mut'ah marriage. No one can disprove this, because the couple is not required to have witnesses to this temporary marriage. Let's read about it in the book of Sahih al-Kafi by the Imam al-Barbadi, volume 3. Number 46. Reported by al-Hujjar son of Muhammad from Ahmed son of Ishaqu from Sadan, son of Muslim from Orbid son of Psara from his father from Abdullah, peace be upon him. I mentioned to him the mut'ah asking if it's one of the 4 kinds of approved sexual relationships. He said, marry from them, women, 1,000. They are women for rent. What this means is that you can rent as many women as you want for sex. The number 1,000 mentioned in the verse is used to mean that men have an number 1,000 mentioned in the verse is used to mean that men have an unlimited license to rent women, read, prostitutes, as long as they have the money. I also wonder how they can get away with using the word marry, when they are, in fact, hiring. What Muslims call marriage, we call prostitution, and if their marriage is prostitution, what does that make of their adultery? If we read carefully you will notice that this is the same as mut'ah. If you have money you can buy women and have sex with them. If she is a free woman, then it's a contract between the two, her and the temporary husband, otherwise it is a purchase contract between slave buyer and seller, but it is all about sex. From the Sunni Muslim books we get clarification. Book entitled, Al-Mu'alla. Volume 6, Part 9, p. 467, Imam of Al-Sunnah, by Ibn Hazm he said, no one is allowed to have together more than 4 women, but in addition to them, he is allowed to purchase as many women as he wants. This is just the superficial view of Islamic law on adultery. If we dig deeper, we would find out that it is more complicated than it looks. What I showed you in the last verse is the definition of legal sexual relationship. But Islam does not forbid a lot of ugly behavior. Quran 4:23, user Madakdok. Translation. Forbidden to you are your mothers and your daughters and your sisters and your paternal aunts and your maternal aunts and the daughters of the brother and the daughters of the sister and the mothers who nursed you. Any woman who feeds a man at least 5 times becomes his mother, and your sisters in the breast. Feedings: any girl who has been breastfed by a man's mother at least 5 times becomes his sister, and the mothers of your women, wives, and your stepdaughters who are in your laps, born of your women, wives, which you had entered into, had sex with. So if you were not entered into them, not had sex with them, so you are not at fault, and also the wives of your sons who proceed out of your backbone. This was believed to be the origin of man's sperm, and 2 sisters together, except where it is already done. Surely Allah was forgiving, merciful, and forbidden to you a married woman except the captured slave as Allah has ordained upon you. Except for these, all others are lawful, provided you seek them with agreement of money from your property, without breaking the law of Allah. So for whatever you have enjoyed from them, pay them what you agreed to pay. Allah is all-knowing, all-wise. What this means is that Islam legalizes sexual relationship between the Muslim man and his own married female slave. This hadith explains the verse for us. Sahih al-Bukhari, Volume 7, Book 62, number 137. We got women captives from the war spoils, and we used to sleep with them. So we asked Allah's Messenger about having sex with them, and he said, "Do you really do that?" Restating the question 3 times, then he said, "There is no soul that is made by Allah to be present but will come into existence until the day of resurrection." A sexual relationship with a married woman is forbidden in Islam, that is with a married Muslim woman. Non-Muslim women who are married are fair game. Whether they are kidnapped from their husband first or not, non-Muslim wives are free for the Muslim man to take by force. Kidnapping is optional, because it does not legalize the rape. The rape of non-Muslim wives is already legal or approved. Additionally, Muslims are allowed to force their kidnapped non-Muslim women into prostitution. They are considered their kidnappers' property and, therefore, subject to be used as tools for business.